Welcome, welcome. Come on in. Come on in. Yes, indeed. Come on in. Have a seat. The door is already unlocked for you. Y'all know that already. Door already open for you. Come on in. Welcome to the Roll the Tape Show, live and in living color with Manager Marty. Y'all know what it is. Come on in. Come on in and have a seat. Yeah, we're going to start this live off momentarily. We're going to start this live off momentarily. Yes. Yes, come on in, y'all. Yes, indeed. We're going to talk some boxing this evening. We're going to talk some business of boxing this evening. Yes, indeed. We're going to have fun this evening. Good evening. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. If you're just joining us for the first time, I welcome you to the Manager Marty Show. This is a segment that I do every Tuesday evening and every Friday evening. We call it the Roll the Tape Show. So this is, I don't know, episode what, y'all? How many lives I've done so far? I don't know, 11, 12. I'm not sure, but this is another episode of Roll the Tape. And I welcome all of you first-time visitors, those of you that are joining us live for the first time. I welcome you. Those of you who are not here for the first time and you are a returning viewer, I welcome you. If you are here because you were sent here by someone else, anyone else, I welcome you as well. If you were sent here because you just want to sit in the background and you don't want to participate in the chat, you're here because you just want to spy. You just want to be a part of the environment to cause chaos and utter destruction and troll the channel. I welcome you as well. Oh, yes. We welcome trolls on this channel. And the reason why we welcome everybody on this channel is because I tell y'all time and time again, and I'm going to tell y'all right now, if one person, it only takes one now, one person learns something about the business of boxing that they did not know prior to encountering this channel, I promise you, I'm satisfied. So I welcome you all. We have a question on the floor this evening. And before I answer the question, I would like to first acknowledge everybody in the chat that's acknowledging me. I salute you all in the chat. I welcome you all in the chat. And as the numbers, I'm talking about the viewership numbers, as the numbers are increasing, I can't even get it out, y'all. Y'all know what I'm going to say. Exponentially, as you're coming into the live, we are going to do a roll call in just a few seconds, but I want to make sure everybody get an opportunity to come on in. You know how I start the channel off. I started off with the bread and water, right? And then the middle of the segment, we have our appetizer. And then we have our full entree. And if we still have enough room, we have dessert. So I'm glad to see all of you in the chat. Most of you in the chat are day oneers, as I like to call those of you who have been a part of this channel from the first time I started this channel back in the beginning of October. And so I would not be here today with the viewership increasing, with the subscribers increasing, with the content, the quality content that I work so hard to produce. I would not be able to be here to do it all if it were not for your support. So I want to thank everyone, whether you're a day oneer or you just started tuning into the channel today. I want to say thank you for your unwavering support throughout this 5-month journey that I've been on as an official content creator. And I thank you all, and I hope at least one person have learned so many things about the business of boxing that you did not know before encountering any of my content, whether it be published live or just a piece of content that I publish throughout the week. So I thank you all for your support. I want to start it off by acknowledging a few people who have donated and contributed to the channel this past week, before tonight, and then after Friday, which is the last live that I produced, and that's Incel. Thank you, Incel. You might not be here right now, but even if you're listening to the replay of this live, I want to thank you, Incel, for your Cash App and your unwavering support. Thank you. I appreciate it, Incel, for your contribution to the channel. Thank you, Clifford Henry. Thank you so much for your contribution through the super thanks and the super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Clifford Henry. My guy, Jay Reddy, another guy who has been a day one supporter here on the channel. Thank you for your Cash App as well, Mr. Jay Reddy. And last but not least, I have to give all of the credit to this man because he is also an official day oneer. And that's my guy, Mr. Pragmatic. And I saw him in the chat, so I have to go and acknowledge him in the chat. But also thank you, Mr. Prag, for your contribution to the channel. And thank you for your unwavering support. And thank you for building a friendship with me, my brother. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much. And now this is the part of the segment. I see Red has already beat me to the punch. So salute to you, Red, in the chat, because he's saying that he's tuning in all the way from California. And I told you all Friday evening when we did the last live that moving forward that we're going to do what I like to call a town watch. And that is where people in the chat come on now and show some support, not just for me, but other people that's in the chat, and every viewer that's going to watch this. Come on and salute your hometown or wherever you are located. Red already started it off. He's tuning in from California. So come on, let's do a city and state check-in right now. And I see Rhode Island. So we got California in the building. We got Dayton, Ohio in the building. We got Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more from Rhode Island. Come on now. Come on in, y'all. Tell me where you at. We do check-ins in the preliminary stages of this live. Y'all know how we do starting on Friday. We did it Friday evening, and we're going to pick it up right where we left off at tonight. And while you all are checking in, I see somebody from New York City. There she go. Dion. I've been waiting to see you, Dion, all the way from New York City. Who else we got in here? Hold on. I see you coming in. I see y'all coming in. I got to make sure I get everybody. Dion from New York City. Salute. Metro Atlanta. I see you. Louisiana. I see you. Mississippi. I see you. Straight out of Dallas, Texas. I see you. California back in the house. Shreveport, Louisiana. I see you. Pontiac, Michigan. I see you. St. Paul, Minnesota. I see you. Uh-oh. Got the guys from Harlem. I love Harlem. Harlem, New York in the building. H-Town. Houston in the building. Cincinnati, Ohio. Houston, Texas. Indiana in the building. Woo, my God, Mike Harrison. Hey, what's up, Mike Harrison? I ain't see you in a while, champ. Good to see you in the chat this evening, sir. Another one of my day oneers, Mike Harrison. Washington, D.C. in the building. What else we got? We got Charleston, South Carolina in the building. We got Texas in the building by way of Chicago. I see you, Mr. Know-It-All Rants. Another one of my day oneers. We got Lafayette, Louisiana in the building. Woo! Come on, stop playing Cash Crypto. I be seeing you in everybody else chat. You better stop playing Cash. Cash, you from Big Oil, Alaska? Woo, stop playing Cash. Yeah, we checking in. Come on now. I see the viewership increasing exponentially. Come on now. Y'all already know how we do it as family now. We're boxing family now. Please, I encourage you, click the like button so we all can make sure that everybody else experience this education and this empowerment that reverberates all across the world on YouTube. San Diego, California in the building. Woo, we got everybody here. And I want to welcome my audience. They're probably not in the chat, of course, but I'm telling you, I check my analytics and I have viewership and subscribers all the way in the United Kingdom that come and support this channel. From the Philippines, all the way from the Philippines that support this channel. Of course, the United States of America. You all, of course, support the channel. But we have people all across the world. Canada be viewing the channel and subscribe to the channel. So I want to thank all of my viewers and subscribers all across the world who come and support the channel. Come on now. We see people coming in the chat. When you come in the chat now, I need you to start. We on our town watch right now. You know, we on our come on and check in your city and state so we can salute and acknowledge you all in the chat. So we got San Diego in the house, San Diego, California. We got Big Oil, Alaska. We got Fort Lauderdale, Florida in the house. We got Houston in the house. We got Cincinnati in the house. Indiana. I'm just doing a recap, y'all. Washington, D.C., Charleston, South Carolina, Chicago, Mississippi in the house. Who else we got? Harlem in the house. Minnesota, Pontiac, Michigan. Man, we got everybody. Dallas, Texas, Mississippi, New York City. We all over. Rhode Island, Dayton, Ohio, Cincinnati. Yeah, we all over tonight. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Chicagoland areas in the house. My guy, Big Dose, 513. I see you in the chat. I don't know if I sent the reference song yet. I probably did. But if I didn't, Dose, I got you. Come on. Y'all know my hometown is in the building. Raw Muscle, what up? Philly is in the building. Y'all already know how Philly get down. You know I represent my town. Y'all know how I do. San Jose Bay Area in the building. We got Tulsa, Oklahoma in the building. Who else is here? Who else here? Check in. Check in. In Virginia. I got family up in Suffolk, Virginia. Check in. Check in. Yeah, we doing a check-in. This is how we start our show off from now on. Dallas, Texas in the house. I see you, Taylor. Come on in. Come on in. Yeah, this is how we start our show off right. I see the numbers increasing again exponentially now. But what will be also as equally as helpful is if you click that like button. So all of this air frying that we're going to do tonight, all of this empowerment, education, and entertainment that we're going to do tonight can reverberate all across the world when you click that like button. Come on now. Yes, indeed. Yes, yes. We're here tonight. Yes, the question on the floor tonight. There's $1 million question on the floor. The Poconos in Pennsylvania. Woo, is in the building tonight. Yes, indeed. Come on, get them likes up for your boy. Come on and support the channel now. Poconos. Hey. What's the weather like in the Poconos right now? It usually be cold around this time. It's probably warming up now. Real cold in the Poconos. Mississippi in the house. I see you. Come on and check in when you get in the chat. $1 million question on the floor tonight. Of course, I don't have $1 million, but that's the major question that everybody and their mama and grandmama want to know. Who does Manager Marty manage? Oh, yes. Yes, that is the question on the floor tonight. My guy from Atlanta is in the chat. My main man, Pots and Pans, World Combat Sports. I see you, WCS. Good to see you again, sir. Question on the floor tonight. Who does Manager Marty manage? Ooh-wee. Everybody just want to know who Manager Marty manages. Who is this Manager Marty? Who is he? Who does he manage? I've seen this question come alongside of my chat several times over the course of the last few months. And I want to make sure I give you your answer because inquiring minds Inquiring minds want to know. I see you in the chat, Mike, all the way from Massachusetts. Man, we got people all over the world. We got people all over the world that support this channel. And I want to say I salute you all and I thank you for your support. Hey, I want to say this too. Everybody's been complimenting me on that jacket. Washington, D.C., I see you in the chat. Everybody's been complimenting me on this jacket that I put up there. So I wanted to make sure I remix it and put the jacket right back up there again because everybody was loving the jacket when I put this picture of me at the fights last weekend on the community post. So salute to everybody in the chat. I see the love. Washington, D.C., I already shouted you out, but I'm going to do it again because I see you again. Hey, listen, y'all. Everybody wants to know, who does Manager Marty manage? Let me say this to y'all because I think this is amazing to see. When people, and I'm talking about certain people, Wilmington, North Carolina in the building. I see you now, Brian. People will sit all the way in the back on the live. And they see the link, but they refuse to click it. Y'all ever notice that? You notice the big bad wolves, they be sitting in the live and they got all this mouth. But then when the link come up, they don't want to come. They don't want to talk to me. I'm one of the coolest guys you know. Y'all come talk to me, holler at me. I'm going to put the link back up there. Not for no smoke or nothing, but y'all know we air fry on this channel. So salute to everybody again in the chat. If you are just joining this live, you just walked in the live, what we're doing, we're going to do it for another few seconds. But if you just joined the live, what we're doing right now is something that we're going to do in the preliminary stages of every broadcast moving forward. And what I like to call is a town watch, where we come in and watch the town that you're from, because what we want to do is acknowledge where you're from. So when you come into the chat, come on and drop your location. Come on now, tell us where you from. Tell us what city and state you represent. If you're from another country, we encourage you too now. We welcome you. Oh, the numbers are increasing exponentially. I see the viewership. Shout out to Diana. I salute you, Diana. I see you. Blessings to you, sweetheart. Blessings, 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 support. Thank you so much. Yeah, we got some business to talk about this evening. Patterson, New Jersey in the house. Oh, yes. I see you. Dallas, Texas. What up, Sean P? I see you. Yes, yes, yes. One of my other day ones here. Yeah, we got some business to attend to this evening. Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. The $1 million question on the floor tonight is, who does Manager Marty manage? Who does he manage? Who? Yes, yes, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Hey, Prince, let me tell you something. Long Island, New York, I see you. Atlanta, Georgia, I see you in the chat. Hey, Prince, let me tell you something. I know that's what he say on his channel about wiping your feet, but let me tell you what we do on this channel, Prince, because you might not know, you might not hear me say it in my voice. So let me say it to you, and I'm going to say it to all the viewers here. You do not have to dust your feet off when you enter this live. You do not have to ring the doorbell when you come in this live. Wonder why? Because the door is already open for you. The door is unlocked for you. You understand? I welcome you, is my point. You don't have to dust your feet off because we family. Yeah, just come on in and have a good old time. West Baltimore, I see you in the chat. Salute. Yes, 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 yes. All right now. I see the numbers. Y'all waiting for me to answer that question, don't you? We're going to get some results this evening. Who does Manager Marty manage? Is the question on the table this evening. But before I get to the answers of that question, I want to make sure that we talk about some boxing. Let's talk about some boxing first before I get to the answer of that question. I want to salute to all of my viewers, all of the supporters of the channel. I want to say thank you for your unwavering support. Everyone who has made a contribution to the channel in the past and even right now, like my guy Sean P just did. Thank you, Sean P, for your contribution to the channel. I want to say I appreciate it all from the bottom of my heart. Sean P says, You know how we do. All love, my guy. Hey, you know, there's a saying, right? Real recognize real. But I also like to say real recognize fake too. Have you ever been to a store and you went in and you may have given the clerk or the customer service representative or the cashier who's at the cash register $20, $50 bill, $100 bill, and the first thing that cashier does is put that $50 bill in the air, put that $100 bill in the air, put that $20 bill in the air. You want to know why? Because that cashier recognize counterfeit money. You see? So we keep it real on this channel. Salute to my guy, BBO Boxing. I see you in the chat. Oh, the singing guy. That's my boy right there. KQKC. Salute to you, sir. This is the first time I seen you in the chat, KQ. And I appreciate your support, my brother, and just being in the chat, man. Here to kick it with me, man. I appreciate it. So everybody wants to know, who does Manager Marty manage? And so I wanted to welcome those that are just coming into the live. I welcome you. Thank you for your viewership. We're going to have a good evening tonight because we got some boxing to talk about and we got some business to talk about. And speaking of business, my guy just contributed to the channel. He's another one of my day ones. And I see him in other people's channels, supporting their channels. And that's my guy, Mr. Carl Brown. He says, salute my brother, Manager Marty, and the real ones. Carl Brown, thank you for your contribution and your support as always, my brother. Oh, yes, indeed. Jay Reddy, I see you in the chat. Jay Reddy, I don't know if you was here about 10 minutes ago, but I made sure I acknowledged you, Jay Reddy, for your Cash App that you contributed to the channel earlier this week. And so I want to thank you, Jay Reddy. If you didn't hear me say it earlier, I see you in the chat, so I want to make sure I acknowledge you. All right. Let's move forward right now. So here we go. Now let's start at the foundation, because before I answer that question that's on the screen that you see, I got to make sure we cover some boxing. I got to make sure we cover some business. Oh my goodness. Oh, they got the troublemakers here now. They got BVO here in the chat. They got KQKC in the chat, and they got AM Sports Media in the chat. Ooh, got some heavy hitters here tonight, y'all. Yes, indeed. Yes. AM Sports Media is in the building. I salute you, AM Sports Media. I thank you for your contribution and your support. I'm not sure if it's Greg or Jason, but I salute and acknowledge both of you guys. Okay. All right. So let's talk about some boxing before we get that question on the screen answered. Right. I see you in the chat, the one. Salute to you. Okay. I salute. We still doing check-ins now. Don't forget, when you enter into the live, we're still doing check-ins. And I see somebody all the way from Vancouver, Washington, here with us this evening. Oh, yes. We got another supporter, one of my day oneers. He came out swinging. Salute to you, Mike Harrison. I see you. Thank you for your contribution and your support, Mike. He says, just because, period. Absolutely. Thank you again, Mike, for your unwavering support, your feedback, man. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much, man. Always. Yeah, the singing OG here, y'all. Yes, indeed. So let's cover some boxing real quick before we get that question on the screen answered. All right. So let's talk about a fight that's going to be happening this Saturday evening. Of course, the weigh-ins will happen this Friday evening, and I will be here on a live, God willing, this Friday evening. And hopefully, while we're on a live, we can get a little bit of coverage of the weigh-in. And when I say coverage, I don't mean me stealing someone else's live feed. I'm just saying that we can discuss the results of the weigh-in between Caleb Plant and David Benavidez. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, my day oneer, Mr. Pragmatic. Thank you for your contribution as well. And Mr. Prag says, here's my contribution to the live. Woo! Thank you so much, Mr. Prag. The singing OG coming right through. Thank you, KQ. I appreciate your support, man, and your contribution. KQKC says these words: I came to learn something from the manager. Hey, KQ, I appreciate you, man. I love what you and Knockout Boxing is doing. I was on the live with you guys on Sunday morning, but I couldn't stay long. But I love how you guys have that good combination together on Sundays, man. So you guys are doing a wonderful job, KQ, and I love how you host and facilitate the debates over there, man. So I want to give you your flowers while I can. So thank you again for your contribution, KQ. Look forward to seeing more of you, my brother. Thank you so much. So let's talk. Caleb Plant versus Benavidez. This is a fight week, of course, ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Roll the Tape crew, and Larry Wade is the strength and conditioning coach for Caleb Plant. And Larry Wade did an interview with, oh man, I don't want to get the source wrong. I think it was Fight Hub, y'all. It was either Fight Hype or Fight Hub. And they were questioning Larry Wade on how Caleb Plant looked in training camp ahead of this fight with Benavidez. And Larry Wade said that that Caleb Plant looks in tip-top condition, man. He's in tip-top shape. And we shall see, because this is going to be a very interesting fight. This is going to be a really, really good fight. And I look forward to it. I think this is going to be a fight where I think we will have a definitive winner in this fight. I'm not saying that it's going to end in a knockout. I see you, Jay, in the chat all the way from Oakland, California. Thank you so much for checking in with us. Appreciate you. Vancouver, Washington. I seen you in the chat earlier, and I want to recognize you again, Zach. Thank you, all the way from Vancouver, Washington. Man, we got everybody in the chat all across the country here to come support and get some education and some entertainment tonight here on the Roller Tape Show with your guy, Manager Marty. So Caleb Plant and Benavidez, man, they're gonna get it on this weekend, and I look forward to it. I'm thinking about doing a live commentary on the channel. I've done it several times before with the Tank Davis and Hector Garcia, Boots, and the guy Karen. I did that, and I also did Alicia Bumgarner, her fight, and I look forward to doing the Plant versus Benavidez. So not only on Friday evening are we going to do a live here again, so come back and see us again here on Friday evening, and we're going to talk about the results of the actual weigh-in. But the next evening on Fight Night, I probably start not the first fight, but the second fight, which is going to be Chris Colbert from Brooklyn, New York. He's going to be the second fight, and then I'll start commentating from there. And if anybody who is knowledgeable of the sport of boxing, if you have a YouTube channel, if you're a content creator, I'm openly extending an invitation. Feel free to come on, because I'm going to have like an open panel for everybody who's watching the fight to be able to, give your take on the actual fight. Feel free to come back and kick it with me, and we're going to make sure that we have a good show Friday evening and then Saturday evening. Quest says, Quest is here from St. Vincent. That's in the Caribbean. Man, we got people all in the Caribbean coming. We salute you. Cincinnati, I see you again. Manager Marty, is there a setting to where you can tell where the people are from, bro? That's from my guy Big Dose. No, I just checked the analytics, and the analytics, the YouTube analytics show you your demographic, or what city and states give you the most viewership and the least viewership, and different things of that nature. And it also share with you who subscribe to your channel. And I'm learning all this stuff, y'all. But that's how I know. And we do check-ins right here from Friday evening that just passed all the way to the day and moving forward on our live broadcast, where we just have a little, I call it a town watch, where we come in and just, talk about where we from when we come in the chat. All right. And what city and state we want to represent, or what country, what island we want to represent, so that we can be acknowledged openly. So I appreciate you also all of your support. So Plant versus Benavidez. Somebody in the chat said, please get the likes up. Please get the likes up. And I want to say this since we have other Chi-Town. I see you in the building, KQ from Chi-Town. I want to say this because we have other content creators that are watching. I can't see them that are watching, but I know some other content creators may be watching, but they may not be in the chat. But the ones that are in the chat, I want to encourage you all to subscribe to their channels. I want to openly acknowledge them. KQKC Boxing Network. When you all get a chance, please subscribe to his channel. Good content. Who else was in here? AM Sports Media was here. Please subscribe to his channel. Who else did we see in here? That's a content creator. I just don't want to leave anyone out. That's a content creator. I think Big Dose a content creator too, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all subscribe to his channel as well. Who else? Just want to make sure I don't forget anybody, y'all. Okay. It might be more content creators. Oh, my boy here. How'd I skip him? I apologize. My boy here. Mr. Omega Red. My guy. What's up, Omega? Good to see you. Baltimore in the house. I see you, Lamar Jones. I want to make sure I'm just scrolling up. I want to make sure I don't forget nobody now. If you're a content creator and I forgot you. Oh, WCS. That's why I'm glad I start scrolling up. WCS. Please go subscribe to World Combat Sports. Good content. Good content. I want to make sure I don't forget nobody now, because I appreciate y'all support. The other content creators. I appreciate you all. Dungeon Talk with Doom. Dante Hall Boxing Talk. Bruce Gas. These are channels you please go support now. Go support those channels. Subscribe to those channels. They got good content now. I wouldn't steer you wrong now. Y'all know I wouldn't steer you wrong. So yeah, so we're going to start with that. Let's start right there with Caleb Plant and Caleb Plant and Benavidez. Yeah, let's start right there. We're going to set the foundation right. This is going to be a good fight, y'all. I think that man, I don't know how to start, because you know why? Because what it is a lot of people are so accustomed and used to David Benavidez just knocking everybody out. You know what I mean? I see you, Shaka Zulu. I see you all the way from Detroit. I see you in the chat. Salute. Yeah. Somebody said they're from the tribe of Judah. I see you in the chat. I know what that means. So salute to you as well. And so, I don't think Caleb Plant is going to get knocked out. I know that might sound like, what? You don't see that? I think, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm going to keep it 100. I am a little biased because I'm rooting for him to win. I'm rooting for Caleb Plant to win. No disrespect to Benavidez or nothing. I just want to see Caleb Plant win. Yeah. But this is going to be a good fight. I'm going for Caleb Plant in this one. Who y'all got real quick? Who y'all got real quick in the chat? If you're watching the replay of this broadcast, I welcome you. Feel free to comment in the comment section below. Who y'all got in this? Who do y'all have winning this fight? I mean, y'all don't have to give a whole prediction or nothing, but just who do you want to win in this fight? I think this is going to be a good fight. Man. Oh, let me tell y'all this, because this is why I'm saying it too. Larry Wade, the strength and conditioning coach, also said that people might be expecting Caleb Plant to run the whole fight and jump on his bicycle, but he said that people will be surprised. People will be surprised how the game plan is going to help Caleb Plant win. Not exactly sure what he means. KQ says that he did an interview with Benavidez Sr. yesterday at the end of the live. Okay, so at the end of this live, y'all go check that interview out of Jose Benavidez Sr., who's the father of David Benavidez. KQKC conducted an interview with him, so make sure you all go check that out. Ahead of this fight this weekend. Yeah, I see everybody in the chat saying Plant better run. I'm gonna keep it 100. I think that Plant has to mix it up. I don't think he should run the whole fight, and I don't think he should stay in Benavidez's range the whole fight either. I think he should mix it up every other round, mix it up, because a lot of times when fighters, start moving and using lateral movement and sometimes getting caught on the ropes, they start getting fatigue in the championship rounds, in the later rounds, and that can be to their detriment. So, I just want to make sure that Caleb Plant, he stick to the game plan. I believe this, and I could be wrong because y'all already know I'm going to say I'm not an in-ring performance expert, way above my pay grade, but I've been watching boxing a long time. I am trained as a judge, an official, through USA Boxing. I'm certified and licensed to do that. So there's certain things I know how to look for in scoring rounds. And I think that Caleb Plant should adopt the same game plan that J-Rock used against Hurd. You remember that fight when J-Rock fought Jared Hurd? And of course, they have the same trainer, Breadman from Philly. So I know that Breadman definitely got a good game plan. You know what I mean? Man. Whew. And you know what? I believe that if Caleb Plant throw those combinations to the body, body head, but definitely on the inside when you get up under that jab, fire those combinations to the body and then the head. And then get up out of there. Step to the side. Keep trying to turn Benavidez. Keep turning him. Because if he catch you on the ropes, and if he catch you right in front of him, the Mexican monster take you up out of there. He can't stand in front of that Mexican monster, man. And here's the thing: if David Benavidez win, I have a question for the chat real quick, and then we're gonna move on. If David Benavidez win, where does he go from here? Because this is a pay-per-view fight. This is his first time headlining a pay-per-view. So where does he go from here if he beat Caleb Plant? Somebody in the chat, let's talk about it real quick. Where does he go from here? Where does Plant go from here if he beats, where does Benavidez go from here if he beats Plant on pay-per-view on Saturday night? Will he become a pay-per-view star? Will he need one more good fight on pay-per-view before he becomes a star? Where does he go? What's his next move, in your opinion? What's his next fight? What do y'all think? Somebody says he should fight Canelo or move up to 175. Yeah. Somebody said somebody else said move up to 75. Yeah, because Benavidez is definitely a big guy, man. And I do believe he's going to come into this fight much bigger and much larger than Caleb Plant. That'd be a good fight, him and Canelo. Somebody said move up to 75. Everybody keeps saying move up. Somebody said Andrade, fight Andrade. Somebody said fight Charlo or Canelo. I see that. Yes, I see the numbers, the viewership, ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Roll the Tape film crew. The viewership is increasing exponentially. So I want to welcome my new audience that's coming right in. We're on David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant. To all of my new viewers that just walked into the live, come on and have a seat and let's talk some business of boxing. Okay, the question on the floor tonight for the new viewers that's coming in and for the viewership that will be watching the replay of this live, the question on the floor tonight is, who does Manager Marty manage? Oh, yes, that's the question. And as I always tell other people, we need answers. Oh, yes, indeed. So, so we got Benavidez beating Plant, and if he does, move up. I see that. People saying move up. I don't know if he should fight Charlo because Charlo hasn't really competed at 168. I'm sure he can make the weight. He's a fairly big guy. But if he fights Charlo, I want to see Charlo fight somebody else at 168 coming up from 160. That's a big leap. So I want to see him fight somebody else at 168 before he fight Benavidez, because Benavidez is used to the weight. But we'll see. I mean, I think it's going to be a good fight between Plant and Benavidez. I'm not a betting man. I don't gamble. But I heard that Plant is the underdog in this fight. And so it would be great if Plant can come out victorious, because now we need to ask, what's next for Plant, y'all? What do y'all think? What's next for Caleb Plant? If he wins this fight, what's next for him? What's next for him? Caleb Plant, if he beat the Mexican Monster. In the chat, in the replay of the live, in the comment section, let's talk about it real quick before we move on. What's next for him? Somebody said a rematch with Canelo is possible. Okay. That's a big money fight. Yes, indeed. Come on, let's engage in the chat. What's next for Plant, y'all, if he win? What's next for him? Yeah, I see y'all in the chat. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Somebody said they don't want to see that Caleb Plant versus Canelo fight. Oh, they said Plant should fight Charlo. Once again, I got to see him. Man, I got to see him. I got to see Charlo come back, because I haven't seen him. He hasn't fought in a little minute. The middleweight champion Charlo, moving up to 168. I got to see him. I got to see him fight, one fight to see how, his body reacts to that new weight. But that'll be a good fight, though. Plant versus Charlo. Shoo. Andrade versus Plant. That'll be a good fight, y'all. That'll be a good fight. Andrade's over there, he's over there with PBC and Showtime now, so they can make that fight happen. Definitely can make that fight happen. Indeed. Yes. I see y'all in the chat. Yes. Let me do this real, because I haven't done this yet. We've been on live all this time. I didn't show my face. Y'all know I ain't never scared to show face. You hear me? No, I'm not scared to show face. So we here. Let's talk about it. Yes, indeed. Oh, that's my other guy. Y'all make sure y'all go tune into his channel, Crown Jewel Boxing TV. Please go subscribe to his channel if you haven't done so already. Hey, Crown Jewel, real quick, Crown. I reached out to you on IG earlier, man. I'm going to put my email address in the chat. Shoot me an email, because I want to holler at you about something, Crown Jewel. That's my guy representing Jersey. Let me do that now before I forget. And this is no secret, ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Road to Take film crew. My email address has already been publicized on the channel. Okay? So it's not like I'm, providing any new information for some of you that may not have access to that. Okay, hold on, let me send this to my guy real quick. Oh my God, Crown Jewel. But yeah, yes indeed. I don't know. Oh, Lindell, who was on the undercard of what fight? Lindell? The Plant and Benavidez. They got a nice little undercard. Chris Colbert from Brooklyn, New York. He gonna be on the undercard. My guy, I see him in the chat. Dub right side. Salute, Dub. When y'all get a chance, y'all subscribe to Dub channel. Good content. He got good content over there. Y'all support him as well. Man, we got all the heavy hitters here tonight. Man, we got Dub. We got World Combat Sports. We got Crown Jewel. We got AM Sports Media. Who else we had in the building? I don't want to leave nobody out. Big Dose. Who else we got in the building? Oh man, I'm just trying to memorize all the content creators that's in the building. I want to always acknowledge you all for your support. If I forgot somebody, I'll make sure if I see you in the chat again, I give y'all flowers again, okay? Appreciate y'all. Everybody want to know. Everybody want to know the question on the floor tonight. Oh, let me put that thing up there. Hold on. Let me put this back up here so y'all can see what's going on. Yeah, they want to know. $1 million question this evening on the floor. Who does Manager Marty manage? That's the question on the floor tonight. Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. Come on now. Y'all know how we do. Y'all know how we do. Hey, yeah, so that's the latest on a Plant versus Benavidez. That's the latest on that. Real quick, I don't know if this is true or not, but I received some information that my guy from my city, my hometown, Philadelphia, we call him Scooter here in the city. Cool boy Steph. This is not late breaking news. People have been reporting it for the last few hours. I'm just telling you what I've heard personally. Not from Cool Boy though. So don't go put words in my mouth and say Cool Boy Manager Marty has said. But anyway, I've heard from reliable sources here in Philly that Cool Boy Steph and Anui will basically have to reschedule their fight because their fight is suspended. The fight that was for, what was it, May 7th over there in Japan. Yeah, so I think they said Anui got injured. That's what the word on the street is. Not street, street. Word on the street is that Anui got injured. So, they have to reschedule the fight. So unfortunate for my boy Scooter. I was rooting for Scooter and still going to be rooting for Scooter. To win. Definitely to win that fight. And they saying Anui's hurt. So, we shall see. We shall see, when that fight's going to be back on, because that's going to be a banger too. Those guys are going to get that on. 2 world-class champions. My guy in the chat, Byron, I see you, Byron Bradley. What's going on with you? Salute. Everybody in the chat. Salute. I see y'all. Yeah, man. So, that entire card is not going to happen. And most of the card was basically fighters from over there in Japan. So, we don't know the reason. All we know is that Anui got injured. We don't know what the injury is. We don't know the extent of the injuries. We don't know how long he's going to be out. We don't know when the fight's going to be re-announced. We don't have those details on this end. But as soon as I hear something credible, I'll let you all know. And even if somebody else reported before me, that's cool. As long as we get the information, the accurate and right information is more important than anything else. So we covered some of that. Let's talk about a fight that we all want to see. Some people have been impatient about it, but it's a fight that we all want to see, and that's the Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence fight. Now, Terence Crawford, he put out a tweet. As we can see, this tweet that he put out was earlier today. And, I don't know if this is in direct response to what Errol Spence said in his tweet, that he basically talked about he make no apologies, and so we don't know if this was in response to that or not. We could assume, not exactly sure. But Terence Crawford said, everything happens for a reason. I'm still focused at what matters the most. And that's bigger than that little S they took. Watch. I'm assuming that he's referring to, I believe it was a tweet that Terence Crawford tweeted about his house being robbed of some valuables, including jewelry. And I believe his tweet said something to the effect of he'll pay someone $100,000 to basically tell him who um, broke in his house, or who not even broke in his house, but who at least robbed him and stole from him, stole some valuables from his house. So we won't cook on that because they don't have nothing to do with boxing, even though he is a boxer. But Aaron H. Muhammad is in the chat, and I salute to you as well, Mr. Aaron. Thank you. One of my other day ones has been supporting the channel. Thank you so much, Aaron. So yeah, so I want to know if these guys are still negotiating, like everybody keeps saying. Everybody keep on saying that him and Spence are negotiating behind the scenes, and it's so much of a big secret. I don't know how, if it, I don't know how it's a secret if Mike Coppinger says something about it. I don't know if it's a secret if Max Kellerman says something about it. I don't know if it's a secret if whoever told them says something about it. And of course, it's really not a secret if all of us are talking about it. So I don't know if that's true or not. But, my question would be, what's taking so long? Because we saw and heard what Bomac said in the content that I published on Sunday. I was basically one of the first content creators to replay what FightHype.com did in an interview that they conducted with Bomac. And we all see the body language of Bomac when Spence's name came up, when certain questions was being asked. Y'all know I always say I listen to the words that people say, and I listen to the words that people don't say. You've heard me say that time and time again. And so what is there else to talk about? I mean, we've been talking about this fight for over a year now, when it comes down to almost a year since Crawford said that, he was sent documentation to review and or sign back in May of 2022, a month after Spence fought Ugas. And here we are, almost at the end of March, almost in April. It's either y'all gonna fight or you're not. It's either Bud want to fight Spence or he doesn't. We've heard him say he don't want to fight Spence. Then he said he do. Then he came back and said the fight will never happen. Then he said he'll fight him. Then he said he's past it. Then he said he'll fight him. Then he says, I don't need Spence for legacy. I've already, experienced, being a part of the undisputed, undefeated conversation by unifying all the titles at 140. We've heard all of this. Now it's time to put pen to pad. Now it's time to put pen to contract. And if these guys going to fight, they're going to fight. Spence said he got a big announcement coming up. Hopefully it's about him and Crawford fighting, but who knows? I have a question, though. What's up with Bomac in that interview he did with FightHype.com? What's up with him acknowledging that Alexis Rocha is a sparring match? Like, what's your thoughts on that in the chat? Let's engage for a minute. Let's engage on that. What's your thoughts on that? What's up with that? This is the trainer now, the trainer of Terence Crawford, as we all know. Why would he say anything about the lower level opposition publicly? You're going to build the fight up. You got to make it seem like, even though the guy's an easy fight, or the fighter is an easy fight, you got to build him up. Because if you just put him down and say, man, he's corny, he don't have nothing, he's whack, he's easy food, he's a sparring match, who's going to want to pay $79.99, to see that fight when we already know the outcome? I'm just saying, you got to build. This is all about promoting, y'all. We talking about business. We're talking about business. You know, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about business. You know, why would Bomac downplay it, even if it is true? Why mention it publicly? Why? And my question would be, okay, so y'all, let's say you fight Rocha, right? You fight Rocha. Now, why are y'all negotiating with multiple camps? That's what Bomac said. Let's talk about it, y'all. If the fight that the whole world wants to see, that we as fans are willing to pay for, why are you all negotiating with different camps if there's only one fight we all want to see? Salute the poor counter boxing in the chat. I see you in the chat. And he's another content creator with good content. And feel free to subscribe to his channel as well. You know, I'm just saying. It sounds like, once again, y'all heard what Bomac said when he was asked about the WBO route. We went the easy route. It sounds like they want to keep going the easy route. But we've seen the easy route 95% of Terence Crawford's career. So with that being said, my question remains to everybody in the chat. Is Terence Crawford solidified yet as a Hall of Famer? Right now, if he was to retire tonight, would he be solidified as a Hall of Famer? That would be my question on the floor tonight. Let's engage in the chat. Let's engage in the comment section, those of you that are watching the replay of this live. We have a new viewership now. I see that the numbers, y'all know I'm going to keep saying this because it's true. The viewership is increasing exponentially. Everybody, some people saying yes. Some people saying yes. He is solidified as a Hall of Famer. Someone told me just now his hand is casted already. Everybody's saying yes. Some people saying not in my eyes. Some people saying that Bud resume is trash. Let's engage and talk about that. Yes. Let's engage and let's talk about it. Because the thing about it is this, you know, we want to make sure that the Hall of Fame is fair. Most of the fighters that's in the Hall of Fame, they had signature wins. Had some signature losses too. But for the most part, you know, everybody in the Hall of Fame in boxing had some signature wins. Took some signature losses because that's what boxing is about when you're fighting another great fighter. When you're fighting other fighters that's on your level, competition-wise. You win some, you lose some. So, you know, everybody want to talk about Spence, but I'm not talking about Spence, y'all. We can get down to Spence. But I want to stick with Crawford. See, I noticed that when we keep asking about Crawford, some people keep trying to derail us by telling us about everybody. No. We're talking about Crawford now. Is he solidified as a Hall of Famer if he retires tonight? That's the question. John Kramer says Rocky Balboa is a Hall of Famer. So how credible is the Hall of Fame? Somebody says that Crawford needs to fight Garcia. He needs to fight Ugas and Spence. Everybody, some other people, 3 or 4 people, I see them in the chat saying no. Let's engage in that. Aaron H. Muhammad says, as a fan of boxing and a fan of Errol Spence, let me say for the record, if Spence was operating and maneuvering the way Crawford is, I would be 10 times more critical of Errol. Got it. Understood. So if he retired tonight, would Crawford be solidified in the Hall of Fame? That's the question. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that question. Yeah, let me remix it real quick because I see somebody in the chat want to know. We're going to get to the question. Question on the floor tonight. To all my new viewers and those in the chat. Who does Manager Marty manage? That's the question on the floor tonight. That's the $1 million question. Yes. I see Georgia Peach Denise. I see you in the chat, sweetheart. Salute to you. And I want to say this. Let me show my face. I got to show my face when I do this because it's important. It's important that we give human interaction so that people can see the authenticity and how organic words are being used when you see the body language of a person when they're speaking. I want to salute all of the women that are in the chat. You already know I take a small portion of the segment to be able to acknowledge the support from the women that support the sport of boxing, that support the business of boxing, and that support this channel. And I want to say salute to all of the women that's in the chat, that have been viewing this channel, that have been supporting this channel, that have been contributing to this channel. I want to say to all the ladies, Manager Marty say, I salute you. Thank you for your viewership. And even the women that's watching that's not in the chat, that might be watching the replay of this live, I tip my hat off to you too, women. Thank you for your viewership and thank you for supporting this great sport of boxing. Okay. And so, hey, we got to see what's going on. Do y'all think that Crawford and Spence are still negotiating? Do y'all think that that's the big announcement that Spence have? Real quick. Do you all think that? Y'all think that, maybe in a few weeks that they might announce Spence versus Crawford? Because here's the thing. The pay-per-view between Ryan Garcia and Tank is what? April 22nd? That'll be a good time to announce. They usually do that on pay-per-views. They announce, big fights in the broadcast. So we'll see. People saying I think so. I see you, Paul Counter. Most people are saying yes. Somebody just said no. Got a mixed view of the situation. Some people said they don't know. Indeed. That's the whole thing about it. We want to see good fights. That's what we want to see. We want to see good fights. Crown Jewel said he think it might be an announcement that Spence is going to fight Boots. Woo! Well, Boots is the interim IBF welterweight champion, so he's definitely next in line for a shot at the title with Spence. That'll be a good fight too. Oh yes, absolutely, indeed. Yes, indeed. So I mean, we shall see. We shall definitely see. I think it's good for business if they are going to fight, making us all wait and anticipate. It's good for business. It's very, very good for business. Aftermath White, a part of the Roll the Tape crew. I see you in the check-in. I see you. Speaking of Roll the Tape, let me say this because I've said this on previous lives, but some of you may have forgotten, so I'll reintroduce you to the concept. So when I say, ladies and gentlemen, you already know what that means, right? When I say members of the jury, I'm referring to us. Members of what jury? The court of public opinion. And then when I say Roll the Tape film crew, I'm referring to my subscribers and my supporters who are a part of the Roll the Tape film crew, meaning that I'm acknowledging that you have been supporting this channel as a subscriber or a returning viewer. And when I say roll the tape, y'all already know what that means. You know, you already know what roll the tape means. You know, so I don't have to explain that. But I want to say that I'm so excited about the chat right now. The chat is on fire, y'all. You know, we air fry on this channel. I know other channels might cook, but here on the Roller Tape Show with Manager Marty, we air fry. We get down and dirty. We roll our sleeves up and we make sure we cook that food. And the chat be cooking, chat be popping. I look at the analytics, man, it'd be like 1,600 chats, you know, back and forth, a total of 1,600 and something chat just all night, just engaging. And that's when you know that we all are in the same vicinity when it comes to our thought process. We all have one thing in common. We don't have to agree on everything, y'all, but we have one thing in common, and that is we love the sport of boxing. We all come from all walks of life, all walks of life. You know what I mean? All different kind of occupations, religious background, affiliations, right? Ethnic backgrounds, race, but none of it means anything when we come together because we have something that we can all agree on. We love the sport of boxing. And some may love the sport more than others, but the bottom line is we love the sport of boxing. So it brings us all together, and it crosses and overcomes all barriers so that we all can have a voice, and we support the sport of boxing. And that's all, you know, basically, you know, that matters, you know. Excuse me. And we all can agree and we all can disagree, but that does not stop our love for the sport of boxing. Okay? And so that's important. And speaking of that, I do love the sport of boxing, and I also love the business of boxing. You know, we've heard people say certain things about the business of boxing, say certain things about the sport of boxing, but they still support it, still make money off it, still report on it, you know, still talk to other people about it. So the business can't be that bad, can't be that evil. You know, we talk about politics and all of this stuff, but the truth of the matter is you got to listen to a person that's conducted research. You've got to listen to people that make transactions in this business. You know what I mean? And so I want to let you know that the business is not as evil as being advertised. You know, straight up, this business have made more millionaires than some other sports. And I'm not talking about that boxers make more money than other sports. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is those other sports. Think about those other sports. Let's talk American football, American baseball, American basketball, American hockey. Let's just think about those other sports. Before they become professional athletes and get signed to an organization or a team, you know how much stuff that they have to go through? You know how many drafts that they have to go through? You know how many tryouts they have to go through? Do you know that most of them, you know, have degrees in college? All of them have gone through some type of schooling, whether it be high school, whether it be secondary education, like a university, right? But in boxing, it's not like that. It's not like that. I'm not saying, I see somebody in the chat saying that all mainstream corporations are evil. What I'm saying is this. People keep saying that they hate the business of boxing and don't know too much about the business. So this is why I provide the education so that you can see both sides of the coin. Now, back to my point about the business and sport of boxing. You don't have to have a high school diploma or a GED to participate in the sport of boxing or in the business of boxing and make a whole lot of money. You don't have to have a college education, background, or degree to participate in the sport and the business of boxing. And so when I say that the business have made more rich people or millionaires, I'm talking about with less restrictions, with less prerequisites. And boxers work hard, y'all. Boxers work hard. Professional athletes, you know how long it takes them to go from the local level to the regional level to the world level? And I'm talking about in competition. It takes a while. So we have to give credit to all of the fighters, whether we agree with them not fighting who we want them to fight or not. We have to give them some level of respect and credit because they sacrifice a whole lot, male and female. All right. But it is the business of boxing that have made these athletes make and generate the amount of money to provide for themselves and their families. Okay. So I just wanted to put that in proper perspective. Now, this is the part of the segment, right? Where we do Ask Manager Marty. And because I have all of your attention, let me explain to you how this works. It's very, very simple, ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Road to Tape film crew. Very, very simple. Because we're talking about the business of boxing, right? So how it works is this. You can ask Manager Marty any boxing related question. Let me say that again. You can ask Manager Marty any boxing related question, right? And I will do my best to answer your question. Now, how it works is very simple. This is a way that we can do an even exchange. I will give you information on the business of boxing in exchange for you contributing to the channel to show your support. And so there is no minimum or maximum amount. All contributions are welcome and appreciated. So how it works is when you contribute to the channel, let's say you do a super chat. If you're watching a replay of this live, you do a super thanks. If you do a super sticker, if you do a Cash App, you see the Cash App location is at the bottom of your screen. Okay, then guess what happens? Once you do that and make a contribution and you ask a question, I will publish your question so that everyone can see your question. And then after I publish your question, I will provide you with an answer. All you have to do is ask Manager Marty. All right. So let's start this off right. If one person can please refresh the super chat so that we can make sure it's working. Sometimes it don't be working and people hit me up and tell me that it's not active. So, can somebody refresh the chat for us? Thank you, Incel, for your contribution again to the Cash App. I didn't see a question on here, Incel, but if you have a question, feel free to ask me, Incel, and I will answer your boxing-related question. Can someone refresh the chat, if you may? Yeah, this is not going to take long. Just a few minutes, y'all, because I want to provide education too now. Yeah, when y'all come here, y'all know what it is. We got entertainment and education, right? Charles Thomas, I see you in the chat. We're going to get to that in a minute. We're going to get to that in a minute, Charles. I'm going to answer that question. You don't have to do a super chat on that. That's what this whole segment going to be about. Okay? We'll get to that right in a minute. Absolutely. So I'm waiting for somebody to refresh the chat so we can make sure, refresh the super chat so we can make sure that it's active. So if someone, anyone, anywhere have a boxing related question that you want to ask Manager Marty, I'm going to spill the beans and give you the answers. Okay. Oh, somebody, thank you, Georgia Peach. I didn't even know my thing was muted. I'm up here talking the whole time. Oh, I apologize for that delay. So Clint Eastwood says, Marty, do you think the four belt era has ruined boxing negotiations? And my answer to that is very simple. I don't believe that it ruined boxing negotiations. I believe that it expanded the boxing negotiations. In other words, is it has allowed, you know, fighters in the same division to have opportunities that they may have not been afforded to receive because there's only one champion. And that's a good thing to be to like, just have one champion in that division. But the thing about it is when you have one champion, you'll have more politics, that'll be able to say, well, look, we got one champion here, and if you don't do what I say as a promoter, you won't get the opportunity to fight this one champion. Because that's what was happening back in the day. That was what was happening back in the day. If you don't sign this long-term contract, you won't get the opportunity of this one champion. If you don't acquiesce to the demands of, a powerful promoter who basically will have that one champion under their thumb, you won't be able to have the opportunity to basically become a world champion and even make big money by defending the title, right? So what happens is now that four belt era has come along with different sanctioning bodies, and of course, they have these different belts in each weight class. Now you'll have other fighters who may not be as skilled as that one champion get the opportunity to have a world title, to be able to say, hey, I've accomplished my goal. And then you have other champions who don't just want one belt, they want all four and they pursue that. So I think it gives an opportunity for that four belt era to expand boxing negotiations, because here's the thing. When you have one champion, let's say a promoter, when I say you, I mean a promoter. So let's say one promoter has one champion that's underneath their promotion company, and there's only one champion in that division. Is basically like everybody got to go through that one promoter. But when you have multiple belts in this one division or one weight class, now other promoters, right? Other managers can basically have an opportunity to be able to vie for the opportunity to compete for a belt. And then, of course, those two promoters will have to do good business, come together, negotiate to see if both belts will be on the line. And of course, there's prerequisites to that. But my whole point is it just makes the boxing negotiation more expanded, because it gives promoters an opportunity to make money and basically put their fighter on the map. It gives managers an opportunity to represent a champion, and it also gives other promoters an opportunity to not basically monopolize one division, because that's exactly what was happening, back in the day. You know what I mean? So it makes it a little bit more of an even playing field. And so I appreciate that question. Thank you so much again, Clint, for that question. Do we have any more questions? This is the Ask Manager Marty segment. I can't say that I'm actively involved in the business and I have wisdom and experience in the business and don't provide you with any education, right? So, yes, this is an opportunity where we can benefit one another and you can learn, and we can do it freely, because I'll publish your question, and then um, I'll make sure I have an answer for you. Salute to you, Sean P. Thank you so much for your contribution to the Cash App. Thank you. I didn't see a question, but if you have one, Sean Pringle, Sean P., if you have one, I will make sure, I acknowledge it and answer it. And the same goes for Incel, who just donated again to the Cash App. So I support you all as much as you all support me. Thank you again for your contribution. Any more questions? Any more questions that we have? So how it works is you support the channel by contributing any amount that you feel that you're being led to. So, to contribute, whether it be through Cash App, whether it be through a super chat, and I'll make sure I publish your question, and then I'll make sure I answer your question. So I appreciate the support. Any more questions? Okay, so there are no more questions to be asked, I guess. I appreciate everyone who contributed. I hope you all learned something from the question that was asked and given my thoughts of how the business of boxing actually works. And, everybody came over because there was a thumbnail that was placed. There was a thumbnail that was placed out. And the question on the floor tonight is incongruent with the actual thumbnail. The question on the floor this evening is, who does Manager Marty manage? That's the question. Who does Manager Marty manage? That's what most people want to know. People have been in my comments section in my chat, you know, uh, for several months, and they wanted to know the answer to this question. Thank you, Shannon, for your contribution to the channel. Shannon asked, tuning in late, but did anyone ask what you think about AB signing to Don King? Very good question, Shannon. No one asked me that this evening. I think that we would have to see. We would really, really have to see um, how Don King is going to move Adrian Broner. We would really have to see that. And I think that it could be a good thing for both guys because it's all about timing. It's all about the timing. I mean, you know, Don King is from Cleveland, Ohio, right? And we already know Broner is from Ohio. So if it's going to go right, at least for the first fight, Don King can do something that BLK Prime failed to do, in my opinion. And that is in the first fight of a promotion, the same way that they did with Terence Crawford. When I say they failed, I'm not talking about with Crawford. They did it the right way with Crawford. But they failed to duplicate that same process with Broner. And what I mean by that is allowing Broner to fight where he has a large fan base, which is at home in Ohio, Toledo to be exact. And I wouldn't be surprised if they negotiated a deal to get Bunny on the card, because he's also from Toledo, Ohio. You know what I mean? So the thing about it is, we want to make sure that Broner get the opportunity, to maximize his earning potential. So I would say that we will see how it turns out, because we saw how Adrian Broner went over to Black BLK Prime and he didn't compete once, and it wasn't his fault. And for whatever reason, you know, he decided that it's not going to work between him and BLK Prime. So his words, not mine. They didn't produce the way he needed them to, and so they parted ways. He can't go over to Don King and that same thing happen. So somebody in the chat said that Toledo is not a good spot. It'll get SHOT up. Well, I'm just saying, chance to change, that AB has a larger fan base over in his hometown. So if it won't happen in Toledo, I mean, Cincinnati kind of rough too, but have it in Cincinnati, because Don King is from Ohio. AB is from Ohio. So it's like, hey, give Ohio a big show, or at least as big as possible, by the promoter who's from that town or that state and the fighter, and promote the heck out of it. We won't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing about AB signing with Don King until after we see the results from his first fight. I do wish AB very well. I wish him well. I'm praying for the guy. I hope things work out for him, whether he's with Don King or not. I'm just saying in his life, because all three of the opponents that he was scheduled to fight on BLK Prime, you know, fell through, and it wasn't even his fault. It was beyond his control all three times. So we got to understand too that Don King, he has a large contact list. Now I don't know if he has burnt any bridges or not in the business. I'm not sure, but Don King can pick up the phone and he can make a phone call and make good things happen in the sport of boxing, just based on his contribution that he's already made and him having longevity. So he can and this is important too. Say what you want about Don King, but Don King as a promoter, he always got the deal done. He gets the deal done with the networks, with fighters, with the venues. His whole track record and history shows us that. So if he can revive his career and bring, Broner's career back on the resurgence, they both might be on to something. Might be a perfect boxing business marriage. Because Don King, he always put on great shows. He always put on the fights that all the fans was willing to pay for. So you got to give him credit where it's due. So it could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing, but we won't know that until after Broner literally fights on the card, and let's see how Don King is going to use his resources to be able to move Adrian Broner. We shall see, because I don't know who else Don King is promoting right now. Is he promoting any other fighters, whether they're local fighters or major fighters? Doesn't matter. But I'm not sure. But my thing is, one of the things I did see in that picture that they took was that money that was sitting on that table. Yeah, I seen that money that was sitting on that table when Broner took that picture with Don King. I saw that. I saw that cash now. But guess what I didn't see? I saw the money sitting on the table, just like you all have. I saw the documents, the contract sitting on the table. But guess what I didn't see, ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Roll the Tape film crew? Guess what I didn't see? I didn't see boxing representation in the picture. You see that? It's one of the reasons why I got into this business. Represent the fighters. I didn't see boxing representation. And I'm not saying anything bad about Don King. I'm just saying I didn't see any boxing representation in that picture. When Terence Crawford took that picture with Bernard Hopkins and Oscar De La Hoya, I seen that picture. Y'all seen it too. But guess what? I didn't see boxing representation in that picture. I'm not saying Oscar De La Hoya and Bernard and Golden Boy are not good promoters. I'm just talking about the fact that I always tell you all, good representation in this business is priceless. Thank you, Aaron H. Muhammad, for your contribution. Aaron H. Muhammad says, Manager Marty would say the existing, okay, hold on, let me make sure I read it right. Manager Marty would say the existing big name promoters want fighters having more control over their purses and negotiations of fights? If not, why? I want to make sure I understand that question, Aaron. Would you say, I guess you, I might be missing the word you out of that. Manager Marty, would you say the existing big name promoters want fighters having more control over their purses and negotiations of fights? Would you say? If not, why? I'm trying to understand. Are you asking me, Aaron H. Muhammad, that big name promoters should have more control over their purses and negotiations of fights? Or should the fighters have more control over their purses and negotiations of fights? Which one are you asking me, Aaron Muhammad? Yes, I see Charles in the chat. He says Don King is boxing representation. Well, remember, the promoter can't be the manager at the same time, according to the Muhammad Ali Act. Okay. So I wasn't talking about Don King. I'm talking about someone independent of Don King Productions that will represent in the best interest of Adrian Broner before he signed those documents. So Aaron H. Muhammad, I want to make sure I'm answering you correctly, okay? Are you asking me, the big name promoters, do they want fighters having more control over their purses and negotiations of fights? Or should the promoters continue to have more control over the fighters' purses and negotiations of fights? Which one are you asking me, Aaron? I want to make sure I answer you properly before we move on to the next piece of our segment, so I can ask the $1 million question that everybody wants to know, the question that's on your screen. Yes. Any more questions? If you have any more questions, please feel free to make a contribution to the channel through a super chat so I can make sure I answer your question and publicize it so that everyone can get educated this evening, or send a cash app as well. Okay. I'm waiting for Aaron H. Muhammad. I want to make sure I don't misinterpret his question. So we'll wait for Mr. Aaron. He's one of my day one supporters, so I know he's going to chat back. I think I got it. Would you say that the existing big name promoters want the fighters having more control over their purses and negotiations of fights? If not, why? Well, I really don't think that big promoters want the fighters to have more control over their purses and negotiations of fights, because that's not the protocol of how business work in the sport. In other words, is if a big name promoter has a fighter signed under contract, and I shared this with you all again, and I'll educate you all that forgot or just hearing this for the first time. There's a minimum guarantee and a maximum guarantee in the contract. So it's nothing to really negotiate over purses when you're signed to a big name promoter, because the promoter does have more control over your purse, has more control over the negotiation process, and have more control over the fights that you fight based on how well they employ good matchmakers. So, what would be the purpose of a big name promoter wanting a fighter to have all this control over purses and negotiations of fights when the fighter is not investing the monies that are, or the resources, right? That it necessarily costs to be able to put on a show, to be able to first recoup an initial investment and then make a profit, if that's possible. You know what I mean? And so I hope I answered your question. Odie Obera, hope I'm pronouncing your last name correctly. Thank you for your contribution in the Cash App, but it also said that you canceled it. So I'm not sure if you canceled it by an accident, but even if you canceled it, I appreciate you still donating, even though you just canceled it. That's okay too. But thank you for just having a desire to support the channel. Okay, so Aaron H. Muhammad has clarified it in the chat, and I want to put this up here too, just so I can make sure I'm answering it properly. I'm asking if the promoters are pleased or are the promoters disturbed by fighters having more influence in the fights. Well, the bottom line is the promoters don't care who has the influence. The question is, hey, how are we going to generate this revenue? I mean, the fighters can have a lot of influence to promote fights. That's great because that's going to generate more revenue, not just for the promoter, but also for the fighter. So I would say that they're more pleased. But when it comes to the fighters, like actually using that influence to negotiate, that usually don't happen. Remember, I always have said this, and I'll say it again, that when you do not have good representation or representation at all in this business, you don't get what you negotiate, you get what you're offered. And so if uh, promoters, are not recouping their initial investment when they putting on these events on behalf of fighters, they're really going to be disturbed because that fighter's influence at this point really is not going to mean anything. It's not going to generate revenue. I mean, think about what Bob Arum said about Terence Crawford. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, you know, the money that he lost. This is Bob Arum's words. Money that he lost, he could have bought a house or built a house in Beverly Hills. So it's like you can have more influence to promote the fight as a fighter, by using social media, by using your contacts, by selling tickets. But if it's not helping us generate no revenue, where we coming out of the red and we entering into the green, the fighter's influence means nothing. You know what I mean? So it all depends on, you know, what I like to call the productivity intolerance ratio. And this is like this, not just in a business relationship, even in a personal um, relationship. You know, the more you produce, the more tolerant the other party is. The less you produce, the less tolerance the other party will have. So if a fighter is not generating revenue for the organization, for the promotion, for themselves, because they get a little split of the ticket sales, right? If they're not doing that for themselves or the promotion, it's like it's certain tolerant levels that I'm not going to have very high as a promoter because your productivity is not matching the tolerance level. You know what I mean? So if people understand that's how business work, I think we'll understand more as fans why we're not getting the fights that we really, really want. It has to make business sense. And that's basically the bottom line. It has to make, business sense. Any more questions before we move on? All right. Yes, indeed. Yes, 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 indeed. Mm-hmm. Yes, 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 indeed. Who does Manager Marty manage? Who does Manager Marty manage? That's the question on the floor. We're going to get to the answer in just a few seconds. But let me take a very short break for identification purposes. And we're going to get that question answered as soon as I return. Who does Manager Marty manage? All right now. I see y'all in the chat. Y'all funny. I be laughing at the chat. I be laughing at the chat sometimes. Very comical. Who does Manager Marty manage? That's the question everybody been asking. Everybody want to know, who does Manager Marty manage? You know, that's the question on the floor, y'all. People be in the comments section asking me this question. You know, people been saying, I'm not who I am because they didn't hear me say anything about this fighter, that fighter. They say in the chat right now, I don't manage nobody. They say I'm not even a manager. I see all of the comments. But now let's get the question answered. You know I got to do this now. Let's do this now. You know I ain't scared to show face. So we got to do this right now. Have some human interaction, right? Who does Manager Marty manage? That's the question. You pull that thing up one more again. Pull that thing up one more again. That's what everybody want to know. Who does Manager Marty manage? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me start off by saying this, because you know I have to make sure that I provide a form of entertainment. Now, I just want somebody in the chat to answer this question real quick so we all can be on the same page. Have you all seen a licensed psychologist on YouTube before? A licensed psychologist on YouTube who's providing resources, education on YouTube. It's just a yes or no question. Have anyone seen a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a mental health professional do a YouTube video or have a YouTube channel providing resources and information on psychology or psychology, or as a psychiatrist? Just a yes or no question. Most people are saying no. Okay. One person said yes. Someone said no. Someone else said yes. They've seen a psychiatrist or a psychologist, and or a psychiatrist have a YouTube channel and provide resources based on their background and experience. Dion said absolutely. Some other people are saying no. Some people are saying, Diana said there's many. Yes, a lot of MDs do. Okay. All right. Okay. Have you seen professional football player? Let's say Shannon Sharp. Y'all know who he is? Y'all know who Shannon Sharp is, right? The Hall of Fame football player. Y'all seen he started a YouTube channel, right? A podcast, so to speak, right? Okay. I'm just asking. Y'all know who he is? Okay. What about the live broadcast he does on FS1 with Skip Bayless? Y'all have ever seen him on there before? I'm just asking the question now. I want to engage with you all. This is not a hoax. Stay with me now. So y'all have seen Shannon Sharp do a podcast, right? Okay. Former NFL player, right? Okay. You've seen some psychologists and psychiatrists have a YouTube channel, and they provide certain educational pieces and resources to be able to educate their audience, right? Dr. Phil, he's one. We all know who Dr. Phil is, right? We've seen him on TV before several times. Some of us may not watch the show, but you can identify him if he walked past this screen right now, right? Okay, good. I'm asking that question because I want to lay a foundation this evening to answer your other question. Who do Manager Marty manage? With all that being said, or somebody said, Ring Kings podcast says, let me put that up here so everybody can see what he said. There are all kinds of professionals on YouTube. But you understand this? Understand this, right? Usually, people don't ask Dr. Phil to produce credentials. Usually, people don't ask Dr. Phil, how many people do you counsel in your private practice? Right? Okay. I have another question. I'm going somewhere with this, and I want you all to stay with me. If you don't want the answer to this question, I've already welcomed you in the live, and you are free to go. No one's holding your hand to stay. I appreciate your viewership, but if you want to know the answer to the question, come on and relax, and let's engage like adults. Now, you're more than welcome to stay. But I'm trying to lay a foundation because we're adults here. We're going to be on the same page after the end of this evening, okay? No one asked Dr. Phil or Dr. Oz or any other doctor, how many people do you counsel? Even though you on TV, even though you got a YouTube channel, Shannon Sharp, even though you on FS1, even though you got Club Shay Shay, somebody asked Shannon how many people he trained privately. No one asked him. I'm just laying a foundation here, ladies and gentlemen. Stay with me now. Do you know why Dr. Phil don't get asked that question? Do you know why Dr. Oz don't get asked that question? YSM Sports Media. Salute, my brother. Good to see you, champ. For the same reason why y'all are asking me. You see that? They don't get asked for the same reason y'all asking me. Because there's some kind of disconnect with the true answer of that. So now I'm going to give you the answer, and I'm going to spin the block and come back around of why I said what I just said. The question tonight is, who do Manager Marty manage? That's the question. That's the question, right? First of all, let me tell you who I manage. The first person I manage is myself. I've learned how to manage my temper. Let me start there. I learned how to manage my temper. I learned how to manage my emotions as a man, something that most men on YouTube have not learned how to manage yet. I've learned the skill set of how to manage my emotions as a man. And this is coming from a man who was raised by practically women in my family, including a single mother. And most of you men who were raised by a single mother without your father, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And some of you men who were raised with your father without your mother's influence know exactly what I'm talking about. So I had to learn how to manage my emotions as a man. I had to learn how to manage myself when I had to learn how to maintain integrity and being honest. So the first person that I manage on a daily basis, I manage myself. Let me talk to the men here, ladies. Hold on for a second, ladies. I'm going to come back to y'all in just 1 second about management. But let me talk to the men. And I am going to answer who I manage in the boxing world. Just stay right there. Men, I learned how to manage these right here, my eyes. There's a scripture that says, I have learned how to make a covenant with my eyes, not to lust after a woman. So I learned how to manage my eyes to make sure that I can look a woman in her eyes, no matter how attractive she is, and be able to have a thorough civil conversation with her without any perverted thoughts in my mind about her when she walks away. I learned how to manage that. I'm setting a foundation. I'm talking about discipline. Thank you, Omega Red. So I learned how to manage myself. Now that I got all of that out the way, let me bring it back over to the ladies. I've learned and been taught by my mentor, who's a dad to me, and my mother. I learned how to manage maintaining respect for women. Something that most men in the chat and on YouTube in general have not learned the skill set on how to do that yet. So once again, every day I manage myself. Now let's move right along since we're talking about the boxing world. I manage others in the YouTube boxing community because we're talking about boxing. Right? I learned how to manage the people in the YouTube boxing community since we're talking about boxing, right? I have managed other people who have continued to use bully tactics on social media against me. Yeah. Let me give you some examples since we all are grown here and most of the people that's in this audience have watched me go through things with Blue Blood Sports TV and have watched me go through things with Mike Williams Sr. We're going to talk about a little bit of that right now. All of you that's in this chat, watching this live right now, watching the live and don't want to chat, hiding in the background or watching the replay of this live, can all attest and agree that you have seen Blue Blood Sports TV and Mike Williams Sr. go on other people's platform, including his own, Blue Blood's own, and have spoken so aggressively about me. Y'all all seen it. Now that we got that attested and out the way, I've learned, watch this, how to manage certain emotions that other people have had against me when I did nothing wrong to them. That's facts. Let me give you an example. This ain't no beef about Blue Blood. Because if he was right here, I say the same thing that I'm saying right now. This ain't no beef or no shot at Blue Blood. But I'm giving you an example so that you can understand the foundation I'm laying. You ain't going to get this nowhere else. You ain't going to find what I'm saying and the way I'm saying it on no other YouTube channel. And we know that to be true. So let's get it right here. Because we all adults here. We talking about boxing. Now, example number one. Blue Blood threw a lot of shots at me indirectly on his channel. That's facts. But I've managed to get people in my comment section to say, when I respond to him, you clout chasing. You're trying to build your channel off of his name. The man that lied on me, threw shots at me, started a beef with me, but yet I've managed to get people in my comment section when I punch the bully in the face, verbally, not physically, verbally, to talk to me as if I'm doing something wrong. I've managed other people to see how authentic that I've been in this YouTube boxing community. I have managed Blue Blood Sports TV. Yeah. I managed to get him from insulting me, indirectly throwing shots at me, not calling me by name, not putting my name in his title, not putting my image or face in his thumbnail, right? I managed to get him to do that when I did nothing wrong to the guy. To as recently as 8, 9, 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, all of a sudden, my name is in his title. My face is in his thumbnail. I'm not complaining. I'm proving a point. As men, I managed to go from Eminem Stan as a name that he gave me to now I'm Manager Marty all of a sudden. I managed to get Mike Williams Sr. after he went on Monty Brown TV's channel and was speaking highly aggressive about me outside of my presence. I managed to get that man to send me an email within 48 hours to resolve the matter and be mature men. I managed to get him to do that. By the way I responded to that. By the way I responded to Blue Blood Sports TV. I managed that, right? Now, for the guys in the chat, and that's going to be in my comment section after the live go off, want to know about who I manage. Let's get back to the boxing community again. I'm managing to get you in my chat right now. You have no probable cause to insult and disrespect me in the chat, but I managed to get you to do it. I managed to get you to keep asking me, Marty, who you manage? Who you manage? For a whole hour, I watched certain people in the chat ask me the same question. I managed to get you to do that. I managed some of y'all that's not in the chat, that's watching me right now, that you were sent over here to spy on me as a detractor and to be in the chat and disrupt the live. I managed to get you to do that. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but I'm managing the haters. That's what I'm doing. Hey, and it's all good. See, I roll a tape on this channel. I roll a tape on the channel. You knew what you was getting when you came here this evening. You knew what you was getting when you came here. Because ain't nothing fake about me. You already know that. And I managed to get you all to feel that energy, to feel that I'm being organic, to feel that I've never lied to you or misled you. But you know what's interesting? I manage to have people criticize the way I want to do something on my channel, right? Which has always been respectful to the women, has always been respectful even to people that don't agree with me. But when you go on other people's channel, they disrespect y'all. They lie to you. They manipulate you. They mislead you. And you still give them your money. Where they do that at? I don't have to show you who I manage as boxers. You want to know why? Now I'm going to teach you something so you won't have to ask me again. There's 4 clauses in a contract. And one of them is a confidentiality clause. So every boxer, professional boxer that I manage in this sport, guess what they sign? Guess what they sign? Let's see who can guess it in the chat. This is the reason why, bring it right back around now. This is why you can't ask Dr. Phil, give me the names of everybody that you counsel privately in your private practice. Let me put it on the screen, Mr. Pragmatic. Let me put it on the screen, Brandon White. Let me put it on the screen, Clint. Let me put it on the screen. Let me put the answer on the screen, Diana. Hold on. That's for Diana. Let me put it on the screen. Cash Crypto, let me put it on the screen. So not only do I manage myself, not only do I manage other people in my chat, in the comment section, hating on me, insulting me for no reason at all. Not only did I manage Blue Blood, not only did I manage Mike Williams Sr., and not only am I managing you watching me right now. And the reason why I said Blue Blood and Mike Williams Sr. is because I managed to come to a resolution with both of those guys. That's what I'm talking about. I managed to come to a resolution with both of those guys because guess what? I managed to keep it all on YouTube. I managed to keep it on YouTube. I didn't go street and disrespect these guys. I managed to keep it on YouTube. You see, I managed to bring all the trolls out to identify themselves in the chat. I never, ever took anyone's money and lied to you and misled you. Because that's what real men do. And I would not sit up here and sell my integrity to convince any of you that I'm a real manager by sitting up there and basically disregarding non-disclosure agreements, confidentiality clauses that I have under contract with fighters that I represent. For what? To prove to you I'm not clout chasing? Go ask, now I'm gonna drop, I don't like name dropping. Go ask YSM if I'm a real manager. Ask Mr. Pragmatic if I'm a real manager. Ask AM Sports Media when y'all go on his channel and support these brothers' channels. Ask them if I'm a real manager. Mr. Pragmatic said it, so I can speak on it now. Mr. Pragmatic seen my licenses when I went to ATL. They didn't ask me to see my credentials. I voluntarily showed them. AM Sports Media, my man Greg. Ask him. My boy Scotty from World Combat Sports. Ask him when I went. Ask them if I'm a manager. Ask Carlos, the boxer that was with us eating brunch. Ask them. I can name some other people too. Hold up for a minute. I didn't even know AM Sports Media was still here. Let's see what he had to say about it. He's a very credible source. Real honest guy. Real good man. Y'all see what he say? You see what he say on the screen, right? I don't have to sell my soul to prove nothing to a troll or somebody else that's been disrespecting me. I don't have to do that. Why do I have to violate my contractual agreements to prove something? That's not what real men do. I got to maintain integrity. Come on now. Come on, man. Y'all can say I'm not a manager, but I can get every commission on the phone, though. If I wanted to know how many fighters get paid and how much they got paid and what they licenses say and their fight contract, I can make a phone call. But it ain't none of my business, so I don't care. I'm just saying. Y'all forgot, if you look at some of my published content, I called the Nebraska Athletic Commission on the phone, and I had it right here. I'm just saying. I don't have to prove that I manage anybody. I managed to get you in the chat still talking crazy on me, bro. I see you in the chat. I love it because I have trolls. I love it. Ask Rachel Donaire and Nonito. Thank you, Bonton South D-Town. I ain't even peeped. Thank you, sir. Ask her. Y'all seen Rachel on the channel a couple times here. Go over there and ask her. I'm just saying, these are people you can go ask that's on YouTube. You have access to these channels. You can just go ask them. What am I faking for? So the same reason y'all asking me, am I a real manager and who I manage, is for the same reason that people are angry at me for coming on YouTube. You notice how ever since I came on YouTube for 5 months, I've been shaking things up. Y'all noticed that, right? I didn't do that on purpose. I was just giving y'all the true knowledge. That ain't no shot. I'm just keeping it 100. That's not a shot. I'm just saying. I managed to get a guy so emotional only to come back and say, you know what? Let's resolve the matter. You know why? Because of the way I conducted myself. If I didn't manage my temper, that's why I said that first. I manage me every day. See, y'all don't know my past. Ask D-Town about my past. We talked. Ask some people that know me in Philly. They'll tell you. God brought me from a long way. So I manage my temper, manage my emotions as a man to maintain respect for women. I'm a gentleman in everything I do, even when I got to get gangster. And I mean that in a very humble way. I don't have to prove anything to Blue Blood. I ain't have to prove nothing to Mike Williams Sr. I don't have to prove anything to the people in the chat insulting me. You can tell by my body language. You can tell by the words that you hear me speak out of my mouth. Remember, I'm the one that taught you all, if you didn't learn already. We all have a humanistic mechanism built in us called discernment. And something about these ears that we all have. When we hear truth, we know it's true. Might not agree with it. You might not accept it. But when we hear something that's true, we know it's true. But when we hear something that's a lie, might sound like the truth. But when you walk away, a day will go by, a week will go by, a month will go by, a year will go by. God gonna make sure it come right back around. And whatever's a lie gonna be exposed. I have nothing to prove. I will not violate my contractual agreements with professional boxers that I represent to prove to anyone. If I wasn't a manager, it's funny how I managed Blue Blood Sports TV to identify me as a manager. If I'm not a manager, it's funny how I managed to get Mike Williams Sr. to identify me as a manager. My point in saying that and bringing those two men up is that I managed to resolve the matter with both of these men. If you can't respect that, your whole perspective is whack. That's not my line. That's from Jay-Z. So I wanted to put that in perspective. I manage me first every day. And guess what? I get calls from people, fighters, that call me. I'm not going to have to say their name. They call me on social media. They don't have my number. They call me on social media. Some of them call me on Instagram. Some email me because I got my email publicly on the channel. I've gotten a lot of fighters out of bad contracts. I don't have to prove that to you. You don't have to believe me. But the question is, why didn't you question all these other people that got on YouTube before me? People have been telling y'all they behind the scenes doing this, doing that. That's not a shot. I'm talking about anybody that they know this business. And then when I come on the scene, all of a sudden it's a big problem. I'm just saying, let's keep it all the way 100. Lucky Showtime. There's no issue with me and Blue Blood. I asked that man a question last night. He didn't answer and it's over. He did a live a couple hours afterwards. He didn't answer it. He didn't say anything disrespectful to me. It's over. There's no issue between me and Blue Blood. It's over. But guess what? I'm going to manage to stand on my square like I always do. And I already told him before, on January 27th. Long as he don't say nothing bad about me, I don't say nothing bad about that guy. I told Mike Williams the same thing. I agreed with him. Y'all seen the email I posted up here a couple weeks ago, about a month ago. You don't say nothing bad about me. I won't say nothing bad about him. But as men, we're going to stand on our square. But my point is, you don't have to take my word for it. I've already keep rolling the tape over and over. You understand? Ask the other content creators if I'm a real manager or not. I'm going to drop names again. AM Sports Media is one. BVO is one. Who else? Who else? Monty Brown TV, another one. Everything Boxing. Who else? Who else? Pull Counter Boxing. Why am I bringing these names up? Because I was on their panel. Fanon, International Boxing. I was on their panel. I was on their panel. And I dropped crazy Jews on their panel that only real managers can give them. I've educated them. I've done it humbly. And they humbly accepted me on their panel. So salute to those channels to let me come on their platform and everything and talk to the people, talk to their audience and everything. I salute those channels. YSM put me on the map. Salute to YSM with the interviews and everything. These guys are the channels I just named. They got good content. You don't have to agree with everything they say or disagree. They got good content. And they've given me the opportunity to come on their platforms. And I humbly appreciate it, to be able to educate their audience. And all of us are still fans of the sport of boxing. I'm just saying. Somebody said I missed the super chat. Hold on. I promise I didn't do that on purpose. Hold on 1 second. Here we go. Nick Gibson says I missed your super chat. Right, Nick? Okay, I appreciate your support and your contribution to the channel, sir. Now let me answer what you just said. Okay, it's not a question. Okay, let me respond to it. No issue with Blue Blood, but he in your title yesterday. That's correct. Let me ask you a question though, Nick. Since I see you keep trying to bring that back up. Did you see my name in Blue Blood's title 9 days ago? When he had my face in his thumbnail? Did you see that? With the clown emojis and all that, clown faces. Did you see that, Nick? I'm just asking the question, Nick. Did you see that in his last live about me? Did you see that, Nick? Okay. You're not going to answer. Most of Windy City saw it. Salute Windy City. Windy City was on the channel, on the panel. Yeah. So, Nick Gibson. Yes, he got tired of you consistently talking about him. Nick, I'm managing you again, Nick. His name was in my title because he started it again with me. I'm only responding to what the guy was saying about me. I'm just saying, bro. So, Nick, my thing is, did you go over to his chat and say all this about him to me? Did you say, yo, man, leave Manager Marty alone, let it die? Did you go in his chat, Nick, and tell him that? That's a question I'm asking for you, to you, Nick, and then we're going to move forward real quick. No, Larry Tucker, no, that's what I want to give him. Yes, I'm giving them attention intentionally because it proves my whole point. Nick, I had a question for you, Nick. Did you go in that man's chat over there and tell him about why is he talking about me? That's what I'm asking you, Nick. Did you do that? Because if you didn't do that, Nick, oh, here you go. Nick, what did you say, Nick? No, because you started this beef. No, I didn't, Nick. Where you been at, sir? I didn't start this beef, sir. Absolutely, I did not. And you can ask anybody else that's been following this whole movement. They'll show you what's been going on. But the reason why I'm acknowledging it, because it only proves my point of how I'm managing. So if you question me not being a manager, I'm proving to you that I'm managing to get you in the chat saying what you're saying. So you can't go by hearsay. You got to verify every piece of information. And I'll leave you with this, and then I'm going to move on. If I'm not a manager, let's just say I'm not. Who cares? I'm not a manager. Then how come y'all didn't know the information about certain pieces of the business of boxing before I got here? How come y'all didn't know? Because the people that have been running around telling you all that they're behind the scenes, they got connections, they got this, they know that. You didn't learn some of the stuff on their channels. You didn't. That's facts. You learn certain things from this channel, right? And I'm only saying that not to toot my own horn, because y'all know I don't want to be famous. I don't care about no pat on the back. I'm just saying that because my objective is to educate you all on the business of boxing. But I wanted to just take a small little piece of a segment to make sure I answer the question. Who do I manage? And now for the clout chasing comment. And then I'm done with this thing. How can I clout chase a person who get the same amount of views as I do when they talk about me? Did y'all hear what I said? We're going to nip it all in the bud tonight. No pun intended, Terence Crawford. Think about it. If I do a video, let's just use Blue Blood as an example. If I do a video on Blue Blood Sports TV, right? I'm supposed to get the views. I got a smaller platform. But if he do a video on me by putting my name in the title, my face in the thumbnail, he shouldn't get the same amount of views I get when I talk about him and put his name in the title and his face in the thumbnail, right? He has 180,000 more subscribers than I do. He has a larger audience. So how is that clout chasing if we getting the same amount of views talking about each other? Let me get this super chat real quick. Jay Reddy, thank you for your contribution as always, sir. Good entertainment too. Fire, Manager Marty, fire. Yeah, I'm going to entertain y'all. This is a part of the entertainment segment right here. Watching you go back to the replay when you at work. Some of y'all listening to this again, y'all gonna be like, man, that joint was crazy, that little last segment. Yeah, I want to make sure I answer that question on who I manage. And then for you that keep saying I'm clout chasing and building my channel off of someone else's name, that's not clout chasing if the person don't have big clout. They got a bigger audience. They're supposed to have way more views than me when they talk about me. Just like I have certain views when I talk about Blue Blood. It's no different. So I won. So it's over. So I wanted to make sure that it is what it is. The General, thank you for your contribution. You came up off his name. You were a nobody. Okay, the General, you're entitled to your opinion. I appreciate your contribution, though. See how I managed to get you to pay me to say that? Appreciate your contribution. You understand? Thank you. I thank you for your viewership too, the General. And I'm not being condescending. I really mean that. But you're entitled to your opinion. Saying I came off his name. I appreciate it. I appreciate your perspective, sir. But the bottom line is that my objective is to do something on YouTube that has never been done before. And that is thoroughly educate the boxing community from a person who is actively involved in this business. Okay? Now, remember, I just said that I managed my emotions as a man, right? So the people trolling, the people insulting me, I want to give you a piece of advice, spiritual principle, like I always do every segment. When you humble yourself, you will be exalted. But if you exalt yourself, you will be humbled. That's to all the trolls, those of you that are insulting me, those of you who are saying things that are derogatory in the presence of women. I told y'all about that last week, what we don't do on the channel in the presence of women. Come on now, there's women in the chat. And the women are watching you emotional men act like this. I try to help you guys, okay? I managed to make resolution. And that's the end goal of it all. And so that's my way of saying, as long as things are peaceful, there will be peace. I just wanted to make sure when I end that whole debacle that you all can stop asking me who I manage, because I gave you the answers of who I manage. And I gave you the answers and reasons of why it is unethical for me to answer it the way you all want me to answer, some of you. And also to address the clout chasing comments. I don't mind people disagreeing with me. It's okay. We're not going to agree on everything, but we agree to this. We all have one thing in common. We love the sport of boxing. And that's all that's important. But every time you come on this channel, I work hard to be cognizant, to make sure one person learns something about this business that you did not know before you encountered this channel. And I'll end it on this note because Byron Bradley said it the best. God is good. And so I've learned how to manage my ego in this regard, not to adorn the praises of men. You want to know why? Because the same people that said Hosanna, Hosanna. Hail to the King was the same people 7 days later that said, crucify him, crucify him. The moral of what I'm talking about is very simple. I don't have to get approval from people giving me accolades and hand claps and pats on the back. Because them same people gonna get a little PO and annoyed if I say something that you don't like. No further questions, Your Honor. So the question was answered. If you feel free to ask me again in any of my comments or the chat, I'm not going to answer it because I've already answered the question. Salute to you, D-Town Boxing. Salute to you, family. Thank you for your viewership and your support, my brother. And all of the YouTubers and content creators that I've acknowledged earlier, I'm asking you all, please go subscribe to their channels. Give them some viewership. They have great content, and D-Town Boxing is one of them as well. So we have to roll with integrity now. Okay? You said, because see, everybody in my chat that's saying these things about me being fake and I'm not a real manager and blah, 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 blah. Y'all the same people that didn't go ask Blue Blood why didn't he interview Broner yet or speak on behalf of BLK about that yet. Y'all didn't even ask that man that. These are just simple things. I'm not encouraging you to go over there and ask him. I'm just using it as an example. There are questions that need answers. But instead of you all asking the right questions to the other people, you're coming over here and you want to know, who do I manage? So I told you. Now you know who I manage. And so I'm excited about that because now we can nip it all in the bud. And it's all good. And guess what? I meant every word that I said before. I'm still standing on what I say now. But the bottom line is, it's over. So from now on, when you come over to the channel now, let me show my face because I want people to understand, body language and also understand when things are authentic. When you come over here to the Manager Marty's channel, from now on, you don't have to mention anything negative about Blue Blood Sports TV. Now, if he allowed that on his channel for y'all to throw shots at me, I really don't care. It's not important. But I'm telling you all, it was educational purposes first and the entertainment second. I've accomplished what I need to accomplish, but it's over. I managed to maintain a resolution. So I'm saying that publicly now. So go over there and tell him what I said. That it's over. It is what it is. It's over. But that's not a lane for anybody to keep dissing me either, because I'm saying it's over. Don't take my kindness for weakness. I'm telling you as a man, pride and all that is not important to me. As men, it's over. So nobody have to ask me who I manage, am I real, am I fake? You had to ask me that. You already know the answers now. You had to ask me about Blue Blood, what I think about him. It's over. I rest my case. And so now we can move forward now. We can move forward. Salute to everybody in the chat. I appreciate you all. I've already had a court session. You see how I introduce my witnesses, that I put their comments on the screen. They're credible witnesses here. So you ain't got to take my word for it. I wrote the tape with the witnesses. that can verify whether I'm a manager or not. It's not important anymore. Did you learn anything? Forget me being a manager. Am I a man? Did I stand up on integrity since I've been on YouTube? All right, then. Do I respect the women? All right, then. Do I respect men even when they insult me? All right, then. You've seen me for 5 months. I don't have to prove who I am. This is not a slap contest. What do you call it? Slap fighting? That's not that. We men. We have to carry ourselves a certain way. I don't have to prove that. But from now on moving forward, that's my way of dismissing it all. It's over. I rest my case. Any more questions besides me being a manager? We've already clarified that. Any more questions that somebody want education on? Real recognize real, real recognize fake. We already know. No more questions? All right, then. We straight. We straight. I don't have nothing to prove. We good. We good? Everybody cool? We see somebody, you know, I wear glasses. Sometimes I can't see chat. All right. You said I answered the question. All right. Well, I'm going to encourage you to rewind the tape. Roll the tape back. And I can assure you that when you roll the tape back, you'll hear the answer to my question. See? I managed to keep them in the chat. Sound like I'm a good manager if you ask me. It is what it is. All right, somebody said we good. Well, you know, I appreciate you all coming out this evening. Nope. Nah, I'm good. Salute. Who that? Somebody said salute, Manager Marty, Ed 1050. Salute. Salute, Ed. Salute. Yeah. It is what it is. Where we was at? I was trying to acknowledge somebody in the chat. But trying to see this real quick. Okay. Awesome. We had a good show this evening. Very, very good show. I look forward to seeing most of you that's watching the replay of this live to become a returning viewer this Friday evening. I'm going to open the panel up so we can talk Benavidez and Plant. We're going to address the results of the weigh-in that's going to happen while we're going to be on live. Also, we're going to come back on the live the next night on Saturday evening because we're going to basically be able to watch the Benavidez and Plant pay-per-view fight. I won't be able to broadcast it, as you all know, but I am going to do live commentary, and I'm going to open the panel up for certain guests to come on and help me commentate the fight live and in living color. So we got a good week of boxing. And what else? So Friday night is the live, and we got Saturday night is the fight, right? All right, cool. And what else? Do we miss anything? No? Well, thank you for your viewership. Everyone that contributed to the channel this evening, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you all Friday evening, live and in living color. And here's the thing. Even if I was talking from a standpoint of entertainment, in the earlier broadcast, I hope that it was at least one thing that you have learned about this business of boxing that you haven't known before you encounter this channel. Thank you again for the contributions. Thank you again for the viewership. And I look forward to seeing you all this Friday evening. And, you know, throughout the course of the next couple of days, I'm going to be dropping other content as well. All right. So I appreciate it, you all. Blessings. Blessings to you all. Salute.